Hello friends, welcome back to Data Center Guru Knowledge Platform, knowing A to Z of data center. So today I am back with very interesting topic on data center operation sustainability technology. So how do we leverage technology in data center facility? So as you know, the technology has been one of the key pillars which gives you or drive you effectivity in data center complete life cycle. So during this session, I would be, as usual, I talk basically about the technology and then specifically for data center facility, how the technology has evolved so far and where do you see the technology reaching from that perspective, and what is that benefit technology brings on our table, uh, and lastly, how do we build up the technology stack effectively. So this is, I hope this covers the entire aspect when we talk about the technology, and you will find it interesting and fruitful. Obviously, please provide your feedback in the comment box. So, moving to the next slide, as usual, what is technology? So, I did some research and I could try to summarize the meaning of it. Technology is sum of technique, skills, method, process used to achieve certain defined objective. It can also be embedded in machine to produce specific outcome. Like all the machines are what kind of technology only, and there has been evolution in technology happens in different ways and means, and in all the walks of our life we have been using technology. So in this session I would be specifically talking about the technology application for data center facility. So when we talk about how the technology has evolved in the data center facility aspect of it, and if you see from the starting early 2000 or even late 90s, so at that time we did not even used to have a kind of a monitoring stuff for the data center facility, and then we had some kind of limited kind of monitoring through different interface like 484 serial interface, and then with the time we saw centralized but limited monitoring system through the building automation or building management system, and then now what we are seeing today is detailed monitoring. That means we are trying to put more and more sensors in the field, or you can call it IoT devices in today's terms, to sense and collect more and more data, because whenever you would like to take any decision, then the data plays a very important role from that perspective. So now we are trying to cover as much as more field devices covered or sensor put in the data center areas to cover more and more information. So next what we see is adaptation of or adoption of DCIM tool. So DCIM tool is nothing but the consolidation of all the information and then creating a different kind of reports and dashboards, which is more meaningful and fruitful for the management, based on which they take decisions. So if you see the color in this flow, so two colors, green what you see here is something which I think we have already completed that stage. Almost all the data center what you see having building management system, and the blue color blocks what you see here is something which is being adapted. So more and more data centers are trying to get into that detailed level of monitoring uh, and DCIM adoption to have clarity in or transparency what is happening in the data center and different component or aspects of the data center. The next steps we are talking about analysis and prediction. So using the data what we have collected, how do we analyze or make the information more meaningful and then predict certain things which is expected to happen in the data center, which will help not only avoiding the data center outages but also driving lot of data center efficiency or effectivity in the operational aspect of it. So in analysis, as of now, adoption of AI and machine learning tools are not that much, which almost not there. It is more about logic or algorithms based on which this analysis are done and then predicted accordingly. When we talk about controlled actions, so what we see is based on what you get as an analysis, you can be able to control certain part of your data center or systems or component autonomously through these tools, through this technology. So you don't have to manually do something. If there are certain controlled actions which is not so much critical because the entire journey has to mature. You cannot jump to the end stage. So we are into maturity cycle where we have reached till information stage and dashboard stage. We're still, and now we are getting more into the analysis stage. So once we get into the analysis set and maturity is there, then we may go for certain non-critical controlled actions in the data center. And then that matured enough, then we will move it to the auto-defined actions. So like you might be hearing, there are a lot of applications which earlier people used to do the maintenance. All things are becoming like self-maintained applications. So they have used a lot of tools and then it becomes kind of a self-sustained. Similarly, when we talk about auto-defined actions, means I would say most of or all the systems and subsystems will not only be monitoring, analyzing the information of the different systems and subsystems, but also taking actions based on the analysis you do in the sections, and automatically it will control the different systems, subsystems and components on the site. So you don't need so much of manual interference, which is there currently. And that stage, normally it is called software defined data center. So when you talk about software defined data center, I would like to move to one stage and take back and move to other layers of the data center. So when you talk about data center, so broadly it has 4 building blocks or 4 fabrics or layers, right? One is compute, so you have servers who does the compute of data. You have got storage, which stores the data. You have got network, which connects all the devices together. And you have got facility, which I am talking about in this session, is provides what? Conducive environment to all these ICT systems so that they are always up and running and also providing optimal performance. Okay, so in this session, if you talk about the evolution of data center in this fabric, then application layer there is a lot of advancement, and then if you see compute, storage and network also, there has been a lot of software defined application of software defined data center concept already adopted in this stuff. Only in facility we find there is a gap. There is a reason for it also, because it is not like you run your UPS or DG set on an application. Your hardware or your product or systems and subsystems has to have that level of technology and automation to support this level of controls. So obviously that system will be developed by OEM, and they have been doing it on time to time basis. And as much edge control they will provide, that is the level of optimization we can be able to drive in the data center facility. So moving to how and where this technology can help. So if you remember, this is if you see this safest image, this is the safest framework which Data Center Guru has developed, and this is something which provide the what is called nichode of objective of the data center, what any business which expects from a data center, and that is simply put in 5-letter terms: safest. So S is safe and secure. It has to be continuously available, flexible, adaptable and scalable, efficient and sustainable. So these are the things which is the key objective. And if you see the technology aspect of it, technology can help in all these blocks what I share on the screen. It can help in S, A, F, E, S, T in all the blocks. And end of the day, it help you meeting the objective of the safest aspect of it. Recently there was a research done by Gartner, and they calculated on a specific data center which were silos. It was not using the level of technology what you are looking at or integrated system versus this technology integrated system. There has been huge amount of cost reduction, around 35% of the cost reduction which has been achieved. If you see the image here, there has been major reduction in hardware, and you might be seeing due to adaptation of virtual machines, consolidation, virtualization, the cloud, and due to which you are able to ramp up your capacity utilization, etc. Similarly, software, there is not much change, but again, the number of staffing, you can see huge number reduction. Similarly, the facility power, or in the facility, you don't not only get optimization in the power, but there are a hell lot of other aspects, elements where you can be able to drive this effectivity and get the actual tangible benefit out of it. Now, moving to how do we build this technology layer? So, this block, whatever you see here on this screen, this is 30,000 feet above the ground level. So all these blocks, what you see here is like the entire data center building is Suvane's building. So you need to consider that all the data center building blocks are there, and which is sitting on the building layer. Above the building data center building block all systems, you have got building automation layer. So on building automation layer, you have got huge amount of sensing devices spread across the data center white space area, gray space area, even utilities areas, and capturing almost all the data what is needed. And then it gets connected and consolidated on a building automation layer. Then you have got consolidation layer, because if you want to make the data more meaningful, more beneficial, then you need to consolidate, make a bucket and put it in different buckets. Then visualization. So based on this consolidation of the data, you can create different kind of reporting and dashboards. So different kind of stakeholders requires different kind of visibility, different kind of information. So this layer creates different kind of reporting and dashboards and circulate to the different kind of stakeholders, based on which they take decisions. Then, so up to this layer, visualization layer, I think we are more or less there. And as I said, this is always a maturity based, so an evolution phase. So we have at least reached to the visualization phase, and then we would be moving to the next stage called analytical phase, where all this information, whatever we are collecting, is need to be analyzed with the previous and historical data, and then only making a decisions becomes much easier. Instead of we using our intellect, let computer decides based on historical data, on specific information, and it gives a outcome what we should do. So obviously there would be a lot of adoption of your AI and ML tool will happen, even not today, but maybe a few years down the line, because at this stage we are in a process of maturing our DCIM application, because still we are not able to leverage as much as what DCIM can deliver to us. So once we cross that maturity level, and even there has been a lot of work already in progress, so we can move to the next level, and then there will be applications which will be using this analytical data and taking appropriate autonomous actions to control different systems, subsystems, and components of the data center. Okay, and the top level is the service level. That's what you are going to realize. And if you see, both the sides are process and controls. These are the two layers which make the entire layer intact. So when we talk about this building automation consolidation, this is more to do with investing technology on collecting the data and automating it. At the same time, we need to develop a process and workflow to connect these all the layers effectively, and then once you develop a process, then you can automate it through this application layer and make the entire thing works. So for example, I'll tell you, we are using DCIM application today, so that gives you dashboard. But when we talk about operation and management of data center, so what you are doing? You are managing the entire asset on Excel sheet. You are writing all the processes on a computer and a document or Excel sheet. And there is all the processes, what you are writing is on the piece of paper. So in this case, you can use an application which can automate the entire operation and management workflow, where you can write all the processes on the application itself. You can follow those workflow application whenever you are doing any activity, whether conducting operation or maintenance or emergency procedures, to track and record it. Document management systems and all the management systems what I talked about, incident, problem, change, capacity, all those management systems have a work process and the procedures which is well defined. That has to get automated. So obviously there are certain applications available today, but that is in bits and pieces. There is no consolidated application which is available, which needs to be worked on to make sure your DCIM or software defined data center, this process, operational processes are also part of it. It has to get integrated, because unless and until you define operational procedures or maintenance procedures, your automation cannot work. So, or the software defined data center, what milestone which you are putting, you may not be able to use it. So, this is what the broadly the stack what I could able to work out, based on which you can be able to build the entire technology stack and get your data center facility software defined. So I'm looking forward for that time when we would like to see the data centers are all the decisions and the operations and decisions are taken by the system autonomously. So with that I complete, or I come to end of the technology session, and I have got a special request from my couple of industry colleagues that the industry would like to know more about this data center environmental health and safety stuff, and they see this area to be a major gap in the industry and which needs to be looked at. So that's the reason I also try to insert this particular session in this. So the next session I would be talking about environment, health and safety for data center on that topic. So with this I have come at the end of my session. Please keep on encouraging me, providing your feedbacks, sharing these sessions as much as possible, so that more and more people can get benefited from these sessions, and provide your feedback on improvements, because that is very, very important for us to work on and improve on day-to-day basis, or I would like to drive some improvements on session basis. So with this, thanks a lot again. Take care. Have a great day, great evening, great morning. Bye bye.